Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And this week, we're doing a new edition of Song Maketh the Scene. So we're going to be talking about a song from a film that's used to elevate the scene and make it something that's very memorable and iconic. And joining me for this episode is one of my best friends, one of my longest friends, and member of the movie club, Matt Williams. Thank you so much for joining me.
Dude, thanks for having me always, man.
And this is very fitting that we're going to be talking about The Matrix, and we're going to be talking about the use of Wake Up from Rage Against the Machine, which, if you don't know, let's set the scene for you. So, it's the end of the film. Neo just went full-blown the One and destroyed Agent Smith, and now sees the Matrix, and it's binary, just trickling down. And the scene starts on a phone, and you just see the code, and Neo basically just dropping a gauntlet down on the machines and being like, basically, I'm the one now. And it's him talking, it's Keanu Reeves talking, and then all of a sudden, he clicks the phone, and in comes riff to this song, Wake Up, and then he flies. He flies into the sky, right into the camera, and then bam, the credits start, and that's where the lyrics start playing for Wake Up. It is such a badass way to end this movie, and this scene's so important too because it opens up the possibility of like, wow, Neo is all-powerful now in the Matrix, which you can argue how well they utilize that and how well this trilogy progresses. I know Revolutions in particular is particularly divisive, but if you just look at the Matrix itself, this was the journey. It was this man's journey trying to realize his potential, and by the end, he sure did. And he's literally a superhero. So, Matt, why'd you pick this particular scene?
Yeah, so, alright. Number one, the song itself is just riveting.
Yep.
Whether it's the lyrics, which are very angry, and socially conscious, which are two things that Rage Against the Machine is, but like rightfully angry.
It's them.
Yeah, like he just like the first verse alone is just kind of like naming presidents and who are like, I don't know, disappointing and maybe have some blood on their hands or a lot of blood on their hands. Or maybe it's like certain figures that try to wake up the masses and shake things up, and then they ended up getting like assassinated, which is like unfortunate, but also like something to not forget. Like the whole song itself, honestly, it's almost as if, I don't think they did, no, this isn't the case, but it's almost as if the band made the song for the movie, but I don't think that's the case at all, actually. It's just like a perfect synergy of like messaging. One of the like larger points of the movie is to wake up. We as a society need to wake up and get unplugged from the Matrix, which is everything that we just kind of like live and die by. That's like the whole Morpheus monologue, which is pretty interesting with like the battery and stuff like that. The other person that's waking up is like Neo himself, waking up to his own potential, which is what Shane was talking about. Also, I kind of just like, okay, what do we do now? How do we like all as a collective like move forward? I think it's like very interesting to like wake up and do something with this knowledge that maybe you weren't aware of before, but now you need to actually, like be conscious, be woke about.
That honestly, that's what's so interesting and timely about this, and Rage Against the Machine's music in general is the whole entire idea is to be conscious of everything that's going around you. And this song is from their self-entitled first album from 1992, so this came out 7 years before The Matrix did, but like, it does feel like it's so embedded and ingrained in the themes and ideas of the film that it does feel like, wow, they probably would have made this song for the film. One, it matches that new metal kind of vibe that this film goes for. You know, you have Rob Zombie,
the Dracula song.
You have Dracula earlier in the song, and all kinds of very heavy industrial alternative metal kind of music that you find in this film. You know, it matches the tone, it matches the vibe, the black leather. This movie is so 1999 and just really captures that essence. And this song, from an aesthetic standpoint, really does, but thematically, when you look at this, it's taking direct shots at J. Edgar Hoover and the horrible clandestine things the FBI would do, and being open and having your eyes open to what's really going on is what this song is about. And that is literally the idea of this film. That is The Matrix. We are eyes closed in a tank somewhere, just living this dream of this perfect 1999, but in actuality we're in a dystopian future. And just even the title of the song, Wake Up, it's The Matrix. You have Neo waking up and seeing the world for how it really is, and then him waking up to who he really is, which is the one who has the power to fight back against the machines and lead humanity against them. And this song has such visceral lyrics in terms of these are all the horrible things that are going on around us, and we all just kind of sit there like doop-de-doop-de-doo, just worrying about our day-to-day and not realizing all the things that go on behind the scenes in terms of what's running the world around us.
It's a call to action, definitely. Mm-hmm. It's a call to action, and also, like, hopefully one takeaway that a viewer would get out of it is that you don't have to be Neo to do something.
Yes.
Like, the whole, like, the part about, like, waking up, or what he's talking to the machines over the phone call, like, the whole thing is that, like, he's taking on the responsibility that maybe he's never taken on before. Mm-hmm. And we as the viewer, we as people in general, also need to take responsibility. Like, how are we going to stop these things that we thought were just kind of like status quo? And that's just like how things work. Like, how do we actually kind of like shift and change and K-turn towards something better, something more equitable, something less violent? And yeah, I think it's a really interesting message, actually. Makes you think about like parallels you can do even for like right now. Like, what are the ways in which you are kind of like asleep? Like, maybe social media, maybe that's a certain way. Maybe are you self-critical about your own like religious identity or political affiliation? Like, maybe you should really like contemplate the things that you are connected with and ask yourself, like, hey, like, am I kind of am I like a zombie? Am I kind of like on autopilot in the way that I'm kind of like living my life? And then should I change things up? Maybe not like extreme like Trinity, like change things up, because that involves an AK, which
yeah, and that's an unfortunate point to bring up too, because there are a lot of people who really misconstrued this film and took that to meaning like there are people that lashed out with violence because they perceived this as their way of waking up, and that this movie was telling them that you've been in a simulation this whole time. Mental health issues plus trauma equals not great thing. Mm-hmm. But what this really is saying, it's like, that is the call to action at the end. Neo is calling to action that, like, we need to take down these machines and tell the machines, like, we're coming. And obviously that's what the second and the third, and I probably need to rewatch the fourth film again. That was something else.
Yeah, maybe you can skip that one.
Or skip it again. But like, it's one of those kinds of things. Like, that is the story. This is the leaping off point, and I feel like that's why it's so fitting to end on this song. Which also, like, just the opening riff and music to it is just so cool, and like Neo like putting on those sunglasses in slow motion, staring right at the camera, and then Supermaning it right up into the sky. It's such a... The Matrix is one of the coolest movies ever made. And that's the coolest way you could possibly end this movie. And it just delivers on such a visceral way. And the music brings that out in you too, because it's getting you hyped up and ready to go. Like, hey, we have a fight on our hands kind of thing, which Rage Against the Machine was always about. having that message, trying to get people to, hey, action needs to be taken at this point because things aren't working.
Also, I like how it's like the juxtaposition of him leaving the phone booth and literally like striking against like what he has to strike against, but he's leaving the phone booth amidst like a crowded like city of people that
are still just
they're plugged in. They are they are unaware. They are completely fine, potentially even that they are unaware, and he has to go save them. Or maybe people need to save themselves, which is the call to action part. But I like that also kind of thing where it's like people are asleep and then he's also awake. You can be asleep while awake. It's interesting.
Well, yeah, and it's even in like thinking about like into the other films. It's like people start waking up on their own after the one has returned. So it is like there are people that are waking up on their own. They heard that call. Something connected with them in some way or shape or form, and they just came out of it. And it's like, I know the rest of the Matrix films are pretty divisive, but like this film is so perfect and had so much potential to set up for something so interesting and big. Certainly, the Wachowskis went big and crazy with the rest of these films. This film is just so perfect from start to finish. Technically, you don't need anything else after it. It's like, you could just imagine, it's like, well, Neo has the power now. It's like, we won. Obviously, they narratively showed you in the next two films of like how that all went about. But this song, just on a musical level, on a lyrical level, thematic level, all just fits so perfect at the end of this film. And it's one of the coolest endings to a movie, just period. It just gets you hyped and ready to go. It's one of those kind of things where it's like, now I kind of want to sit through the credits and actually listen to this music.
When you were a kid, did you want a trench coat after watching The Matrix? I wanted a trench coat. But then my dad was like, you don't need that. Where would you wear it? What would you wear that to? And I was like, I didn't have a good answer.
How old were you when you watched this for the first time?
This was VHS, so maybe this was like... maybe like 10 years old, like 5th grade, which is definitely rated R movie. Maybe shouldn't have seen that, whatever. But yeah, it was pretty. I was pretty young.
I think I was 12 when I watched this for the first time. I remember watching it on TV. I think for the first time at my dad and my stepmom's house. I distinctly remember that first time watching The Matrix and just being like, what is this? This was not the first R-rated movie that I watched.
What was that?
I guess technically Air Force One was probably the first rated R movie, and then Deep Blue Sea.
Got you. Matrix was my first rated R movie.
The first rated R movie that I watched not on television, I think, and that legitimately had an impact on me was The Godfather, because I was 10.
Oh, that's not an easy movie to watch. That's pretty rough.
Watching it because my grandfather was like, this is your culture, we're going to watch this. But no, I distinctly... Like, I've had, like, leather jackets and stuff like that, but I've never had, like, the urge to wear, like, a trench coat.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll get it. But also, again, where would I wear it to? Well,
Matt's gonna cosplay as Morpheus.
Just in Acme, just like...
You're gonna walk up to people with, like, the little glasses on that don't have, like, the... don't have arms to them, and just, like... And you put both hands out to them. Probably don't do that.
Yeah, maybe
especially not in particular areas.
Yeah, that might be.
I could just imagine some older white people who are just freaking out a little bit about that.
Who haven't been woken up.
Exactly.
Who also hate the word woke. Which is also so interesting. People still saying on the internet where it's like I don't like the word woke. Like, literally, woke, just literally only thing that it means is awake to, like, society, to what's going on in society. Specifically, societal injustice. But also, like, these people that hate the word woke are also pissed off about how society works too. So they are also in a skewed, incorrect way, but they are also woke, but they are also pissed off about things that affect them. So, like, maybe they all need to just watch The Matrix.
Well, and then they hijacked the word and then turned it into something completely different.
That's the other greatest hit that I love. I love that. Yikes. But yeah,
So,
great movie.
in the end, wake up. This is a very specific. The Matrix came out at a very specific time at the end of the 90s. Because, like, the 90s is considered the peak of, like, American wealth. Where, like, most people generally were the happiest. And what's crazy is this film came out and was like, but is it? Like, are we just all absorbed? Because, like, this, Fight Club, that all came out in 1999, being like, are we just all complicit just sitting here enjoying our nice things and comfort and not really realizing that there are a lot of other very bad things going on in the world?
When it's a party over / is my comfort getting at the expense at someone
Other
else's
people.
discomfort?
And then in the end, 9/11 happened. And then everything changed in terms of society in this country. And now it's 2024, and what a hellscape we live in now. But not as bad as the hellscape that is the present in The Matrix, of course. But no, this song and the band Rage Against the Machine and The Matrix all go together so perfectly. So yeah, that's why this is a great song, great film, and why we wanted to cover it here on song Maketh the Scene.
Oh,
But Matt,
can I say just one more thing about
Matt
this song?
has one last thing to add.
One thing. Zach Roca, he sings very well. Incredibly well. Scarily well. If you don't want to listen to the whole song, because it's not like a 2.5 minute song. It's a long-ish song. I don't know. But at least listen to the very end when he's just screaming over and over and over again the phrase "wake up." But he's screaming it, especially if you like metal. I'm like slowly getting into it a little bit. I don't know, but it kind of puts your hair on end. It kind of like it wakes you up. Mm-hmm. There's no possible way to listen to any of the lyrics, but especially the very end where you're kind of just like slumped in a chair. Like, no, you have to like this song is saying like stand at attention and do something. Like literally do something, which is really interesting.
Don't turn the movie off. Listen to the credits.
Every time. Yep. Every time.
Absolutely. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on and talking about Wake Up at the end of The Matrix.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love that movie.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.